You don't need a stage. You need a chair and the guts to tell the truth. I don't have all the answers. I'm still sorting out my own. But I've learned that when we name something, we drag it into the light, and it doesn't own us the same way anymore. This is for anyone else who's tired of bluffing and just wants to name what's real while we build. Most weeks it's me, sometimes a guest. Always becoming, always honest. This is no stage, just a chair. Let's start with a story. And this one will make me look infinitely less cool. We've talked about how I'm a boy dad. My sons are 15 and 18. My oldest just graduated high school. There's a lot of encouraging people to shower and buying food in bulk at Costco and all the things that happen in a house full of boys. And one of the things that happened in our house full of boys that is almost cringy, and I'm hesitant to even admit it out loud, but I'm going to, because if that's the goal, then that's the goal. So during the pandemic, when we're all locked away in our little house in downtown Oklahoma City, my youngest son, there was a girl at school that he liked. And we were having a little conversation that probably he won't even remember at this point. We were having this little conversation and he wanted to watch this movie on TV. And the reason he wanted to watch this movie is because that girl in his class that he was interested in really liked this movie. And the movie was Frozen 2. Don't turn off the podcast. Don't write me off as anything. I know it's a house full of boys. I know all the things. Yet somehow we watched this really childish movie. But we were watching that movie because this girl that he liked thought it was a great movie. So of course he wanted to watch it too. When we watched this movie in the middle of the pandemic, they had just closed all the schools. My youngest was in 4th grade, which he was actually finishing the end of his school year in the elementary. And it was the end of elementary school. So the next year he's going to go to an entirely new school, doing entirely new things with an entirely new group of kids. Everything was changing for him the next year. And in the middle of everything changing for him for the next year, one day we come home from school and they said, we're going to close school for the next 2 weeks. And the next 2 weeks turned into we never went back to school that entire year. Everything was unexpected. Everything was unknown. Everything was confusing. Everything was overwhelming. And frankly, everything was kind of scary. You probably remember those moments. And I'm sitting here as a dad trying to navigate that with my sons who are 4th grade and 7th grade. Trying to figure out what in the world we're doing. And one night we're watching Frozen 2. And I'm feeling like the giant cheese ball. And as we're watching Frozen 2, there's a section. And if you've seen it, whether you will admit it or not, Frozen 2, there's a section where the younger sister, and I don't even remember her name, the younger sister, her older sister was gone. She didn't know where she was. She's trying to find her. She doesn't know if she's alive or dead. She doesn't know what's going on. But then she also finds out that something is about to happen that's going to destroy their kingdom. So she's lost her sister. She's about to lose her kingdom. And she's expected to make these decisions that have far-reaching consequences that she has no idea what she's supposed to do. She's the younger sister, and she's lost, and she's confused, and she doesn't know what to do. And I'm watching it going, ugh, I feel too much of this. And she utters this phrase that just hit me in all the right ways. And the phrase was doing the next right thing. She said the next right thing, and it pushed a button. And I'm big giant dad sitting on a couch in a living room in a pandemic with my 4th grade and 7th grade sons who are confused and lost and everything else. And dad is just weeping, can't even hold it together, weeping at the idea of the next right thing because it just pushed a button and all the confusion and all the things. Because as a strategist, as somebody who's thinking about consequences and messaging and long-reaching impacts of campaigns and all the things that we're doing, this is what I do. This is what I think about. Again, I talked about in the last episode, what's the thing underneath the thing? And all of a sudden, in all the unknown, and in all the things that we didn't know what to do next, this bolt from the blue, this idea of just doing the next right thing, just crystallized a lot. Now, and be honest, I would like to tell you that whenever I learned that little lesson, that I immediately started doing it better. And here are the things that got better about my life by doing that. It's 2025. I still struggle with it. And I probably always will because of the way my brain is wired. But there are moments where I have to look at it and go, what's the next right thing? Because otherwise, I will spend my life, no pun intended, frozen. Maybe pun is intended. Who knows? But if I'm not careful, I will live my life in that frozen place. I'll live my life in that place of there's so many things and so many unintended consequences and so many possibilities that I don't know where to start. And when I don't know where to start, what I have to ask is, what is the next right thing? And then I stop thinking about the consequences 10 or 15 years down the road, and I start to think about what the next step needs to be. Because if I'm not careful, strategy turns into overthinking. And overthinking turns into an endless cycle. And that is this incredibly clever form of avoiding doing anything. Because sometimes the most meaningful thing that I can do when I'm overthinking, when I feel frozen, is to commit to something and step forward and not dodge. And I decided I was going to do this podcast. My friend Taylor, in my head, I thought, I can sit down on my laptop. I can put this together. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to do all these kinds of things. And I knew in my heart of hearts that I would plan on it. I would have the best of intentions, and I would never actually do it. So I reached out to my friend and said, I need a favor. Can we sit down and do this together? Because I'm going to go off script a little bit because I want to read you this because I think it matters. Because in that moment, whenever I reached out to Taylor and said, I need help doing this, this is quite literally the text message I sent to him. And it's echoed in my head for the last couple of days. I said, it's always been easier to bet on others. I'll say this stuff to friends all day long, but documenting it is akin to the album I never recorded of my own. I made 50 or so albums for everyone else. I wrote hundreds of songs, yet I never made my own record. So my next right thing, and why I sent that text message to Taylor, and why I had this conversation, and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing even today, is this is my next right thing. This is my thing that I know in my heart of hearts is what I need to be doing, how I need to be doing it, and how I need to proceed. And it's hard because truthfully, I think on some level, telling myself that I would sit here and talk to my laptop and do the things, and that I would just appear fully formed to the world would make all of it feel more magical. And sending a text message to Taylor because I know that I trust him. I know that I believe in him. I know that he does great work. I know all these things about him. It was the next right step. And in the middle of the next right step, trusting him didn't feel magical, but it felt right. Like, hear that again. It didn't feel magical, but it felt right. And it didn't feel magical because it's me trusting him. It's me relying on him. It's me inviting him in. It's me being part of the conversation with him. It didn't feel magical. It felt vulnerable. And truthfully, at the end of it all, it actually sets us up with the best chance for magic. Because there's something that happens in the in-between when you do things with people that work that you're proud of, with people that you respect, on projects that I love that might change the world. Like, unknowingly, I leaned into my 4 core principles. It also helped me to see that even in this morning, even in sitting down and doing these episodes, the clarity doesn't come fully dressed. Truthfully, I walked in here with notes and talking points and rhythms and all kinds of answers, and in my head, it all made sense. And we ran through the first episode, and the first episode was bad. I didn't like it. It didn't feel natural. And then we had a conversation. We talked through it, and all of a sudden, I'm rearranging notes and rearranging the way that we're approaching it, rearranging the way that we're thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, breath got introduced to the whole process. And suddenly, it became clear. It became clear in the middle of doing the thing, because what I'm doing is the next right thing. I know I need to show up. I know I need to be prepared. When I show up and I'm prepared, then it sets me free to be able to go, what is the next right thing? I'm prepared. I'm ready. For years and years, side note, for years and years, I ran an event here in Oklahoma City. It was called H&8. It was the largest food truck festival in America. We started out with 300 people in the street, and 300 people in the street grew into 50,000 people a month, 500,000 people a year. Largest food truck festival in America. Was so much fun. And whenever we did that event,
We did all kinds of prep work for it because we'd have 50 trucks, 50,000 people. We had all these details, all this stuff, all this like absolute chaos happening everywhere. But once we got to the event, it was really interesting because once we got to the event, at that point, my job became shaking hands and kissing babies. That was my job. We'd already done the ground game. We'd already done the work. We already knew who we were. We already knew what the goals were. We already set it up for success. We already had the framework. We already had the pieces in place. We had already done the next right things. Then by the time we got there, it's like, we are free to be here. And if something goes off the rails, we're available. We can go do the thing. If something goes great, we can high five each other. We can get to know people. We can say hi to people. We can have conversations. We're not busy. We're active. We got there by doing the next right thing, by doing the unsexy things, the things that don't feel magical, calling the people that know how to do the things, connecting to the people that can help make all of this happen. Doing it when it doesn't all feel fully dressed, when we're still a little bit unclear. Because when we do those things, all of a sudden we start to realize that doing the next right thing is a muscle. And that every time we flex that muscle, every time we do that thing, it becomes more natural, becomes more confident, it becomes more purposeful, becomes more efficient, becomes more of all of the things that we set out to be in the first place, that we have to get there by going through the imperfect, by not avoiding it, by doing the unmagical, unsexy things, by doing the things that don't feel fully formed, by doing the next right thing, and trusting that there is a process that comes along with it that has a goal. Because when we do the work that identifies the thing underneath the thing, then once we've identified that thing, then we go, what's the next right thing? And it actually is this cascade that continues on. The common thread through some of the most meaningful parts of my life, the jobs that I've taken that in the moment feel unconnected, I can trace back and see this thin red line that connects all of them, whether I realized it at the time or not, each to each other in sequence. And at this point in my life, I want to trust that sequence a little more, and I want to do it a little better. And this is where I say it messy, before anyone can assume that it was tidy all along. See you next week.